Exclusive contract with Feilu Novel Network Novel. Anti-Japanese War. Rise of great powers. Starting from dominating Shanghai Beach, Ma Wenyuan traveled through time to become a county magistrate in the Republic of China. Awakening to the Red Alert base vehicle at the beginning. In this chaotic era of warlordism and the encirclement of foreign powers. To survive. Only ruthless. Fierce. Ma Wenyuan recruits Red Police soldiers, builds Red Police Corps, creates Red Police forces, and becomes the strongest warlord. He started developing crazily from a county town around the Shanghai Stock Exchange. After settling in the Shanghai Stock Exchange, they even robbed foreign banks, tore up all treaties, and drove out all foreigners in the concessions. In Ma Wenyuan's eyes, there are no rules, he is the rules of this world. Afterwards, there were nuclear explosions on the islands, horses trampling on the ocean, bears slaughtering and eagles slaughtering. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Taking Office, County Magistrate of the Republic of China. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. In the spring of the 19th year of the Republic of China. On a main road leading to Kongcheng, a carriage was carrying the sunset and driving slowly and steadily. 3 tall horses followed around the carriage, and the people on them were all carrying guns with a relaxed expression. Only Tang Shiye, who was driving the carriage, wore a long robe and looked a little excited. The person in the carriage was the newly appointed county magistrate Ma Wenyuan, who went to Kongcheng for a walk. Ma Wenyuan in the car had already lost his breath due to a sudden heart attack, but now he slowly opened his eyes again. Who am I? Where am I? Ma Wenyuan felt the vibration of the carriage and looked at the top of the carriage, muttering to himself. Grass. What a goddamn bullshit. Ma Wenyuan, who had regained his consciousness, scolded. He's dead. He's alive again. He has traveled. Ma Wenyuan leaned against the carriage and fell into silence. Master. We're almost at Kongcheng. Tang Shiye's shout came from outside the carriage. Ma Wenyuan's thoughts were pulled back. Take it as it comes. Ma Wenyuan has accepted the fact of his time travel. He searched around and found a letter of appointment. It is the appointment letter appointing Ma Wenyuan as the county magistrate of Kongcheng County. He, the county magistrate, was bought with all his money after his business failed. Its purpose is naturally to make a big profit in Kongcheng and make a comeback in the future. The current warlord chaos of the Republic of China, surrounded by foreign powers, is unbearable. Buying an official with money is not difficult. But he spent quite a bit of money. After all, this Kongcheng is located in the west of Shanghai, on the transportation arteries of Zhejiang, Anhui, and Jiangsu provinces. That's a big county town, rich and flowing. Ma Wenyuan sold iron by smashing the pot and spending a lot of money. Not bad. Regenerated as the county chief, Ma Wenyuan said expressionlessly as he looked at the appointment letter in his hand. Master. Are you okay? Another shout came from outside the carriage. It's okay. Keep going, Ma Wenyuan replied. By the way, everyone else has a system when traveling. What about my system? What about my golden finger? Ma Wenyuan murmured to himself. The heavens seemed to be responding to him, and a voice rang in his mind. The Red Alert base car is on standby. Ma Wenyuan smiled lightly at the corner of his mouth and said, Here we are. Heaven is indeed fair. Red Alert base vehicle. Is it the Red Alert game from my past life? Just as he was thinking about it, Ma Wenyuan noticed a huge virtual model of a Red Alert base vehicle appearing in his mind. Ma Wenyuan felt that with just one thought, he could put this Red Alert base vehicle into the real world. Good thing. It fits the current situation very well. Ma Wenyuan smiled at the corner of his mouth. It is now the 19th year of the Republic of China, which is the year 1930 in history, and it is the year before the foot-bowl chicken invasion of China. At this time, many domestic warlords collapsed, and new warlords also emerged. Not long after, the new warlords will start a new warlord melee. If I bring things from the Red Alert game to the real world, then I won't just take off. Building a Red Alert base, then sweeping through various warlords, beating down the footpot chicken, and even imposing sanctions on Eagle Sauce in the future are just around the corner. As soon as he thought of this, Ma Wenyuan's blood boiled. With boundless passion, the commander could deploy the base vehicle at any time. A cold voice echoed in Ma Wenyuan's mind, pulling his thoughts back. Ma Wenyuan suppressed his impulse and walked out of the carriage. Master! Master! The people outside the carriage greeted him. Ma Wenyuan waved at them and then looked up at the surrounding environment. Master! We have already arrived outside the city of Dakang. There are many people at the entrance of Kongqing, and they should be here to welcome you to take office. A guard who was invited reported. Without any pause, the group quickly arrived at the entrance of Kongqing city. At this moment, the entrance of Kongqing is bustling with activity. 3 rows of big drums made rhythmic sounds, surrounded by slogans welcoming the new county mayor. The wealthy old man, dressed in a long silk shirt, lined up in 2 rows with a hospitable smile, watching the slowly approaching caravan. As soon as Ma Wenyuan got off the carriage, the sound of firecrackers rang out. Then came a deafening shout. Welcome! Warm welcome! Ma Wenyuan looked at this lively scene and thought to himself, formalism is not outdated in any era. Master, the people of Kongqing are very enthusiastic. You can make a big profit this time. Tang Shiye, who was following Ma Wenyuan, smiled. Ma Wenyuan smiled at the corner of his mouth and remained silent. The people of China are currently in a state of deep water and fire, and even having enough food is a problem. In this era, which official is not a commoner and exploits to the extreme. If these people of Kongqing really have such enthusiasm to welcome themselves as the county mayor, unless the sun sets in the west. If something goes wrong, there must be a demon. Ma Wenyuan secretly became vigilant. The sound of firecrackers and drums stopped, and the big drum was pushed away. Ma Wenyuan and his group also walked to the front door. The people were still silently shouting slogans of welcome. A gentry pressed his hand on them before the shouting stopped. Yo yo yo! This is the new county mayor, isn't he? He is indeed a talented person. A middle-aged man wearing a brocade coat and holding a dragon head and cane greeted him, saying with ease. I am Xiao Tianlang, a gentry from Kongqing. Welcome to the arrival of the new county mayor. Xiao Tianlang had a hypocritical smile on his face and extended his right hand. Ma Wenyuan glanced at the person. At a glance, it can be seen that Xiao Tianlang is a big landlord and gentry, the leader of all the gentry in front of him. In other words, Xiao Tianlang should be the leader of Kongqing. His status can be seen from the positions of the other gentry and landlords behind him. If this person is honest and obedient in cooperating, it's easy to say. If there's any ulterior motives. The dangerous light from the corner of Ma Wenyuan's eye flashed away. Upon reaching this point, Ma Wenyuan also extended his right hand and smiled, saying, I am the new county magistrate, Ma Wenyuan. Ma Wenyuan waved his hand, and behind him, Tang Shiye tacitly took out the commission letter and showed it to everyone. The commission letter. I don't know if it's true or false, Xiao Tianlang said with a smile on his face. Ma Wenyuan raised his eyebrows and sneered in his heart, ha. This guy is indeed a bad person. Are you trying to intimidate yourself? His face remained calm, and his voice had already cooled down. Why don't you go to the Shanghai Stock Exchange and ask? It's okay if I don't give him a hard time, his braids are still curled up. Ha ha ha. You're joking. Why should County Magistrate Ma be angry? Xiao Tianlang laughed at the sight and said, the previous county magistrate was just a fake, and in the end, he was beaten to death. I'm also worried about County Magistrate Ma's safety. Upon hearing this, Ma Wenyuan raised his eyebrows and thought to himself, is this guy threatening me? Or rather, was it hitting me? Actually, it doesn't matter whether the county mayor is real or not. Xiao Tianlang approached Ma Wenyuan and said in a voice that only two people could hear, what's important is that County Mayor Ma must listen. Sure enough. It seems that his arrival touched his cake. Ma Wenyuan's expression remained calm as he asked, what would happen if he didn't listen? Xiao Tianlang joked, don't be so impulsive. You, the county mayor, bought it, right? You came here just to make money. If you're obedient, everyone can make a profit. If you're not obedient, you might just be like the previous county mayor. It seems that the previous county mayor was disobedient and was slapped by them. Ma Wenyuan pondered to himself, it's not appropriate to tear open your face at this moment. Give me some time and see who listens to whom. Temporary forbearance is necessary. Mr. Xiao said, let's all earn money together. Ma Wenyuan said calmly and perfunctorily. Ha ha ha. A child can be taught. Xiao Tianlang said loudly, County Magistrate Ma is a talented person, young and promising. We have hope in Kongqing. Oh. 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 A false cheer sounded. Magistrate Ma. Please come inside. Xiao Tianlang extended his right hand and made a gesture of please. The group slowly walked into the entrance of Kongqing, and the sunset slowly set behind them. Chapter 2. Give him a chance. You are listening at novel full.audio. Master. This county government office is too dilapidated, isn't it? Tang Shiye, who had wandered around the county government office, exclaimed in disbelief, isn't Kangchengfu's reputation so lackluster? Why is the county government office so dilapidated? The county government where they are located, which is now the county government. Located in the northern part of Kongqing, it covers a considerable area but is dilapidated and full of a sense of waste. After Ma Wenyuan refused Xiao Tianlang's dinner invitation, he went straight to the county government office. This will be his territory from now on, so naturally we need to first understand it. However, he didn't expect that everyone would say Kongqing was wealthy and the county seat was also very large, but the county government was so remote and dilapidated. Ma Wenyuan said calmly, it's the wealth of those gentrine landlords, not the wealth of the common people here. Tang Shiye nodded and said, that's true. I don't know where those county magistrates used to live before. We should move in there. Ma Wenyuan shook his head and said, it's impossible to live here anyway. Then he ordered, go check the accounts of the county government and investigate the situation in Kongqing. Okay. Tang Shiye nodded and stood up to leave. Tang Shiye has been with Ma Wenyuan for many years, with knowledge and intelligence. He once served as the accountant of General Songpa. Later, when he encountered famine and was about to starve to death, Ma Wenyuan saved his life. From then on, he followed Ma Wenyuan and sold his life to him. As soon as Tang Shiye left, a subordinate named Zhang San hurriedly ran into the wing where Ma Wenyuan was located. Master. Someone is looking for you. Zhang San reported excitedly. Zhang San was one of the 3 guards hired by Ma Wenyuan, with the intention of following him to Kongqing to make a fortune. Who is looking for me? Ma Wenyuan asked. Zhang San excitedly said, it was someone sent by Mr. Xiao. He said that the county government was in disrepair for a long time and located in a remote area. He asked the young master to move to the Nanyuan Western Mansion to live there. The previous county magistrates used to live there. After Zhang San finished speaking, he eagerly looked at Ma Wenyuan. This is a great opportunity. He hopes his own master can grasp it. Ma Wenyuan remained unmoved, his eyes slightly narrowed, and he ordered, tell him, no need. The county government has been in disrepair for a long time, and the county mayor wants to repair it. Let Xiao Tianlang take the lead in donating some money. Zhang San. Are you really going to respond like this? Zhang San said with a bitter expression in an instant. Go ahead. That's it, Ma Wenyuan said indifferently. Wait a moment. Ma Wenyuan stopped him and said, by the way, find me a remote open space. The bigger the better. This matter is very important and must be taken to heart. Zhang San lost his motivation, nodded, and left dejected. Rejected Xiao Tianlang's invitation, I believe he will take action soon. The Red Alert base needs to be built as soon as possible. Watching Zhang San leave, Ma Wenyuan summed up in his heart. Quickly, Xiao Tianlang received news that Ma Wenyuan refused to stay in the Nanyuan mansion and asked him for money. With the arrival of the new county mayor, Kongqing has been bustling with wind and clouds, and local tycoons and gentry have gathered together. Little rabbit. You don't know what's good or bad. You asked me for money. Xiao Tianlang sneered in a bright living room. That's right. Even if we don't come to the dinner party, repeatedly refusing Mr. Xiao, I think he's getting impatient, the person in the living room agreed. In my opinion, he wants to draw a clear line with us and make money alone, said another person. Like that dog's fourth son. Why don't we seek death? Don't look where it is. Who's up to it? Master Xiao gave him some face, and he kicked his nose. He probably doesn't know how dog fourth died yet. That's it. A little kid who knows nothing about the world. These people who spoke in agreement were all landlords and gentry of Kongqing, with Xiao Tianlang as their leader. Xiao Tianlang is wealthy, has guns, and people. He often sells tobacco and human beings, exploiting and squeezing the people. He is a famous landlord bully and local tyrant and evil gentry in the vicinity. Whoever Xiao Tianlang wants to call to death, he must die. No one dares to offend him. Xiao Tianlang waved his hand and the living room quieted down. He spoke up and said, after removing this county mayor, there will be another county mayor. The county mayor cannot be killed completely. After a pause, Xiao Tianlang continued, if you want to make money safely, you still need to bring the county mayor over. After saying that, he scolded again, his mother. If it weren't for the greedy dog, I wouldn't kill him. Go Laosi is the previous county magistrate. What Mr. Xiao means is. Give that kid a chance, someone asked cautiously. For this unpredictable Mr. Xiao, they were all very cautious. Xiao Tianlang squinted his eyes, with a hint of danger in his eyes, and said, give him a chance. Whether he lives or dies depends on his own choice. If he doesn't listen, he'll get rid of it. When everyone heard this, they all smiled knowingly. As for the matter of the county mayor asking for money to repair the county government office, no one mentioned it. A tiger pulling its teeth out of its mouth, isn't that tiring of life? On the county government side, Tang Shiye has already investigated the situation in Kongqing thoroughly. Master. The situation is not good. It's not good. Tang Shiye, holding an account book in his hand, hurriedly ran over and said, the last county magistrate, Go Laosi, has already taxed Kongqing for 50 years. There's not much profit left in Kongqing. Ma Wenyuan. Ma Wenyuan took the ledger from Master Tang's hand and examined it under the dim light. Looking at it, it almost made Ma Wenyuan laugh in anger. These damn bastards, beasts, animals, parasites. Not dividing the body into 5 horses is not enough to appease public anger. These people are really damn. Ma Wenyuan closed his ledger and spoke coldly. Not really. The common people have all been looted. We haven't been able to get anything out of it. They are too greedy. Tang Shiye also angrily cursed. Ma Wenyuan had long understood Tang Shiye's greedy personality and automatically ignored his words. Ask, didn't the previous county mayor die? Is this tax still being collected? Tang Shiye remained angry and replied, collecting. It's all collected by those landlords and gentry on their behalf. The money collected has gone into the pockets of these bastards. Ma Wenyuan's expression was indifferent and his tone was cold. How did they eat it? How could they spit it out with interest? Upon hearing this, Master Tang glanced at Ma Wenyuan and realized that the old master in front of him was a bit different. Have you all inquired about the family power in Kongqing? Ma Wenyuan put down his account book and asked. Tang Shiye replied, there's nothing to inquire about. There are 4 major families in Kongqing, led by Xiao Tianlang. He's the local emperor here. Kongqing's money has gone into their pockets. The meaning is that by dealing with Xiao Tianlang, we can deal with Kongqing, right? Ma Wenyuan asked. Upon hearing this, Master Tang was taken aback and spoke helplessly, he is the local emperor here. We have guns and people, and we have nothing. How could we possibly deal with Xiao Tianlang? Master, please don't be joking. Tang Shiye doesn't think they can fight against Xiao Tianlang. Fighting against Xiao Tianlang is like an egg hitting a stone. If these words are released, not to mention making money, they will be thrown into the wilderness the next day. It's up to us to give it a try before we know, Ma Wenyuan said indifferently. Master, are you serious? Are you sick? Tang Shiye said with concern upon hearing this. Ma Wenyuan waved his hand and said, I'm not sick. I won't do anything I'm not sure about. Just wait and see. Tang Shiye quickly advised, Master, don't do anything foolish. If we leave Kongqing and don't make money, there's no need to die. Ma Wenyuan glanced at him speechlessly. Master Tang really looks like a master, with a scholarly temperament, a love for wealth, and timidity. Tang Shiye is not bad-hearted and has a bottom line in being a good person. Although he is a bit timid and greedy, he is wholeheartedly thinking for Ma Wenyuan. This is also the reason why Ma Wenyuan has always kept Tang Shiye by his side. Ma Wenyuan said indifferently, we've all come here, the money must be salvaged. Master Tang. Chapter 3. Building a Red Police Base. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Master. I'm back. Before Ma Wenyuan could finish speaking, Zhang San rushed in a fit of anger and shouted. How's it going? Ma Wenyuan asked. Zhang San replied with a bitter face, they didn't give me money and even told me to get out. I didn't ask you this, how did you find it in the open space? Ma Wenyuan said. There is a small hill behind the county office, not far from the county office, about 20 acres of land, said Malay Fong. Let's go. Go take a look. Ma Wenyuan stood up and said. Master, please wait a moment. I have something to tell you. Zhang San reached out and stopped. Ma Wenyuan looked at Zhang San and said, what's going on? Tell me. Zhang San said with a bitter face, my old mother is seriously ill and has sent a letter asking me to go back. Look. Ma Wenyuan suddenly realized that the 3 guards he had hired were following him to make money. Now not only could he not get the money, but his life might also be in danger. They were planning to find an excuse to run away. Everyone has their own aspirations, and Ma Wenyuan did not make things difficult for them. He spoke up and said, Master Tang, give them a salary. Those who don't want to stay can leave now. Master Tang nodded. Thank you, sir. You are really a good person. Zhang San bowed and said respectfully. Ma Wenyuan waved his hand indifferently. Tang Shiye left with Zhang San, and 3 horses left the county government overnight, fleeing from Kongqing. All 3 guards have run away, Tang Shiye, who returned, said with concern. Master, we're the only 2 left. How about we also run away? It's important to save our lives. Ma Wenyuan said indifferently, it's human nature to be afraid of death. They know that going against Xiao Tianlang is no different from seeking death. Running away is right, let them go. Master Tang, if you're also afraid, you can leave now. I won't stop you. What did the master say? Upon hearing this, Master Tang was dissatisfied and said, even the master is not afraid. What am I afraid of? I can't possibly die. I haven't died before. Ma Wenyuan nodded and said, don't regret it. Tang Shiyue patted his chest and said, there are only two things in my life that I will never regret. The first is to be the accountant of General Songpa, and the second is to follow you, master. All right. Ma Wenyuan interrupted him, I've been running all day and I'm tired. Let's go rest first. We'll talk about anything tomorrow. Master Tang nodded and left the main room. I'm really tired today, and soon Master Tang started snoring loudly. In the quiet of the night, Ma Wenyuan wrapped his clothes tightly and secretly left the county government. Time waits for no one. He is now a bare rod commander, and only Tang Shiyue is under his command. We need to establish the Red Alert base as soon as possible to ensure security. According to Zhang San, Ma Wenyuan took advantage of the moonlight alone and groped towards the open area behind the county government office. After walking for about half an hour, Ma Wenyuan finally arrived at the position mentioned by Zhang San. The moonlight is hazy, although it is not clear how wide this piece of land is. There should be 2 football fields. Just here. Ma Wenyuan took a deep breath and his mind moved. A virtual model of the Red Alert base car comes to mind. Commander, please deploy the Red Alert base vehicle. A cold mechanical sound sounded. Ma Wenyuan suppressed the excitement in his heart, and with a thought, the Red Alert base car disappeared from his mind. At the next moment, a massive metal monster appeared out of thin air, shimmering with a dim luster under the moonlight, slowly descending. Ma Wenyuan was shocked to see this scene of an alien spaceship landing. Boom! With a muffled roar, the earth seemed to tremble for a moment. The base car landed smoothly and then, like a transformer's, began to bloom with its unique charm. In less than a minute, a huge base was presented before Ma Wenyuan's eyes. The base is entirely made of metal, with a streamlined configuration that not only exudes a strong sense of technology, but also exudes a powerful side leak. This must be as high as a 4- or 5-story building. Ma Wenyuan muttered to himself as he looked at the huge object in front of him. Puzzy. Just as Ma Wenyuan was watching the base, the gate of the base slowly opened. A figure walked out from inside, followed by a fully armed army behind him. Welcome Commander home, I am Dr. Ma, the base engineer. I have met your excellency Commander. Dr. Ma walked up to Ma Wenyuan and gave him a military salute with a dignified expression. Dr. Ma said, since the commander is bound to the Red Alert base, people who come out of the base have the same surname as the commander. These Red Alert soldiers are all your private army, maintain absolute loyalty to your excellency Commander. I've seen the commander, the army behind Dr. Ma shouted in unison. Ma Wenyuan withdrew his gaze and looked up and down at Dr. Ma and the army behind him. Dr. Ma, a standard Chinese ethnic group, speaks fluent Chinese, looks like he's in his 30s, has short hair, and has a shrewd and capable appearance. The army behind him is fully armed, with each person carrying an M60 machine gun, holding a Beretta M12S submachine gun, and a Luger pistol inserted into his waist. Wearing a standardized camouflage uniform that surpasses this era and an M1 individual helmet, one can immediately tell that the combat effectiveness is extraordinary. However, the number of troops is not large, and under the illumination of the base lights, there are only 5 to 6 dozen people, which is the strength of 2 platoons. But the troops of these 2 platoons are more than enough to sweep through Kong City. While Ma Wenyuan was happy in his heart, a hanging heart completely let go. The local snake of Kongqing. Earth Emperor. Local tyrants and evil gentry. Just ants. What is the current situation of the base? Ma Wenyuan calmed down and asked Maid Bang. Commander inside, please. Dr. Ma cleared the way and respectfully extended his right hand. The army behind them also rushed to make way for the road. Ma Wenyuan walked towards the gate of the base. At the same time, he ordered the soldiers, "Go and guard around." "Yes," shouted loudly, and the soldiers dispersed in an orderly manner. Dr. Ma followed behind and introduced himself as he walked. The current base has an initial capital of 10,000 gold coins, an initial number of 60 defensive soldiers, and an initial rations of 5 tons. The commander needs to unlock all other equipment on his own. Ma Wenyuan nodded and walked to the large screen of the base. "Open the base interface," he said with Ma Wenyuan's command. The big screen lit up, and a map of the surrounding 3 kilometers also appeared clearly on the big screen. At the same time, there are also options such as the initial building in the previous Red Alert game. Without much consideration, Ma Wenyuan has 3 initial options directly. Building power plants, mining plants, barracks. Ma Wenyuan was slightly taken aback. This area of 3 kilometers is the current construction range of the base, with enough space, but the terrain is not flat. There are several hills around. What should we do? Ma Wenyuan made a mistake for a while. Dr. Ma, who was standing beside him, seemed to have noticed this and said, "Many buildings can be built underground or in the mountains." Ma Wenyuan's eyes lit up and he said, "Great idea. Built underground or in the mountains, the concealment goes without saying. Not only can it avoid many eyes and ears, but it can also avoid the possibility of being bombed in the future. There's nothing to say, the power plant and barracks are directly placed in the mountains. We also need to build a wall to enclose this area of 3 kilometers radius. We still need to explode a wave of soldiers. Some police dogs. The safety of the base is of utmost importance. Scream. 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 Scream." With Ma Wenyuan's crackling of options, the numbers in the upper right corner of the big screen were jumping rapidly. When Ma Wenyuan stopped his movements, he saw the rapidly jumping number. Is this the initial capital for the base? Why is there only 2,000 left? Dr. Ma spoke up at the right time and said, "The initial funds for the base will soon be used up. The commander needs to build the mining vehicle as soon as possible. Mining is the only source of funds for the base." The only source. Can't real gold and silver be converted? Ma Wenyuan asked. Dr. Ma hesitated for a moment before replying, "Strictly speaking, they are all minerals that can be converted." "I'll just say it," Ma Wenyuan smiled. "Strictly speaking, currencies such as gold, silver, and the ocean are all mineral resources that can definitely be converted into base funds. Now is waiting for the initial buildings he has chosen to be completed." Chapter 4. Grievance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Games are games, reality is reality. In reality, although these things are controlled by the base, it is definitely not possible to build them completely for a moment. Ma Wenyuan also worked hard all day and went directly to the rest room of the base. After the Red Alert base, it's his base, his home. Except for the large command room, there are all the rest rooms, kitchens, and bathrooms available here. As soon as my eyes closed and opened, it was the next morning. Ma Wenyuan was awakened by Dr. Ma. "Report to Commander. All the buildings you selected last night have been completed," Dr. Ma said. When Ma Wenyuan walked out of the gate of the base, rows of soldiers stood neatly outside. In addition to the 2 elite soldier platoons gifted by the base with 60 people, he also pre-produced 2 platoons of ordinary soldiers last night. Now it should happen to have a company of troops. Currently, it is sufficient for use. Ma Wenyuan reviewed his troops once, although his face remained expressionless, his heart felt happy. The tall wall also faintly appeared on the distant hillside, and the barking of police dogs could be heard from time to time. The power plant in the mountain heard subtle sounds from the barracks, and everything was developing in the predetermined direction. However, his base funds are only 2,000 left. Fortunately, the refinery also gifted a mining truck, otherwise Ma Wenyuan would have been extremely poor. How much ore can this mining vehicle mine every day and how much funding can it provide? Ma Wenyuan asked. Dr. Ma immediately replied, with the current efficiency of primary mining vehicles, we can only provide about 1,000 funds per day. Moreover, the mineral resources near us are not very abundant, so we still need to build super time and space mining vehicles as soon as possible. Ma Wenyuan nodded and ordered, the remaining 2,000 funds should be used to produce mining vehicles. Economy is our core. Dr. Ma nodded in agreement. With funds, you have everything. A mining vehicle with a capital of 1,000 can produce just 2 more. Having 3 mining vehicles mining at the same time will result in a much faster accumulation of funds. But this is far from enough. You should know that the Central Plains War that shakes China will soon break out. This is the largest and longest-lasting warlord melee in modern Chinese history. The scope of this battle is wide, and Ma Wenyuan needs to be prepared in advance. There is also the foot-pot chicken that is eyeing China, and it will soon launch a war from local to comprehensive. Ma Wenyuan must accelerate the pace of development. What he needs the most now is money. It's just funding. After assigning all the arrangements for the base to Dr. Ma, the engineer in charge, Ma Wenyuan returned to the county government office with a platoon of soldiers. The others stayed to guard and build the base. Where's the master? Where has the master gone? There shouldn't have been an accident, right? In the county government council, Tang Shirya muttered and walked back and forth, restless and anxious like ants on a hot pot. It's all because I slept too soundly. Is it possible that the master knows he couldn't handle Xiao Tianlang and secretly ran away last night? This is also impossible. Tang Shirya searched inside and outside the county government office, but did not find any trace of Ma Wenyuan. He sat down on the chair and muttered to himself, this martial arts expert seems to be here to cause trouble, but by this time the master is missing. Hey! It seems like I need to go and fight first. Upon reaching this point, Master Tang gathered his strength and stood up, walking towards the outside. Coincidentally, they collided head-on with Ma Wenyuan, who had just returned from the back door. Master! Are you back? Tang Shirya exclaimed with joy when he saw Ma Wenyuan. The backbone has returned. Master Tang breathed a deep sigh of relief. Master! Why did you go early in the morning? It scared me to death. Tang Shirya complained. Just take a walk and pick up someone by the way, Ma Wenyuan replied. Meeting someone. Tang Shirya was taken aback. Then he saw 2 people following behind Ma Wenyuan. 2 fully armed individuals, with weapons and equipment beyond his knowledge. He had never heard of that timeless military uniform, as well as the machine gun on his back and the submachine gun in his hand. The chilling and murderous aura on the 2 of them made him, who had once stayed in the military camp, feel the breath of death. Master! These 2. Tang Shirya spoke cautiously. Ma Wenyuan glanced at the 2 of them and said calmly, I once stayed abroad and made many friends. These 2 people were sent by my friends to assist me, and they will be my subordinates from now on. Subsequently, Ma Wenyuan introduced Tang Shirya to the 2 subordinates. Captain Ma Tianxi. Deputy Company Commander Ma Tiansong. 2 Red Alert soldiers also reported their names, which can be considered as acquaintances. Ma Wenyuan did indeed stay abroad and used to boast about making many powerful friends outside, so Tang Shirya did not have much suspicion. Just a few of us can't handle Xiao Tianlang and the others. Tang Shirya worried. I'll have to try before I know. Ma Wenyuan smiled slightly and didn't say much about this. Turning to ask, I see you looking tense and eager to find me. What's up? At this moment, Master Tang remembered what was happening in the Yamen and quickly said, someone came to the yamen this morning to file a lawsuit. Accuse yourself. Ma Wenyuan raised his eyebrows slightly as he heard this. This matter. I'm afraid it's not that simple, is it? This yamen has been broken down like this, and he is a newly appointed county official. The previous yamen has never opened a court or tried a case before. How could someone come to file a lawsuit the first morning? This is clearly not in line with common sense. There is a problem. Tang Shiye shook his head and said with concern, alas. It's highly likely that Xiao Tianlang probed us. With a smile on the corner of Ma Wenyuan's mouth, he knew there was a problem with it. Tell me, what's going on? Ma Wenyuan asked nonchalantly. Tang Shiye replied, this morning, a waiter from Zhao's restaurant was hit by a horse on the street, spilled wine in his hand, and was beaten to death by someone. Speak clearly. Ma Wenyuan was confused as to what this was all about. Tang Shiye added, the shop assistant spilled the liquor of the martial arts expert Ao Sheng, and Ao Sheng beat the shop assistant to half-death. This Ao Sheng is Xiao Tianlang's team training instructor and is currently suing him in the yamen lobby. Who is suing? Ao Sheng or the shopkeeper? Ma Wenyuan asked. This. Tang Shiye was stunned and couldn't figure out who was suing him for a moment. After a pause, Tang Shiye said, no matter who accuses you. If the master stands on the side of Ao Sheng, it's Xiao Tianlang himself. If he stands on the side of the shopkeeper, I'm afraid. Ma Wenyuan immediately understood. This is just a test, right? It was Xiao Tianlang's test on us. If I listen, everyone will be happy. If I don't listen, I might be beaten to death like the previous county mayor. Tang Shiye looked worried and nodded, saying, this is obvious. It's more like they gave the master an opportunity than a probe. Interesting. Go take a look in the lobby. Ma Wenyuan showed a faint smile and walked towards the door first. Ma Wenyuan didn't even pay attention to people like Xiao Tianlang. He is destined to be a man of the stars and the sea. Master. You must think twice before you act. We can't twist our thighs with our arms. Everything needs to be considered in the long run. Tang Shiye followed behind and advised. Who said it's just us? Ma Wenyuan replied indifferently. Upon hearing this, Tang Shiye glanced at Ma Tianxi and Ma Tiansong who were following him and muttered, these two are company leaders and deputy company leaders. Then they must have soldiers under their command. No one paid attention to him, so he could only make random guesses. Ma Wenyuan and his group quickly arrived at the county government hall. There are two people standing in the lobby, and outside the lobby, there are crowds of onlookers eating melons. Ma Wenyuan walked to the trial table at the top of the lobby and sat down with a thud. Above and behind his head hung a plaque with the words, bright mirror hanging high, already covered in dust. The signatures, pen holders, Zhu Yan, and Jing Tongmu on the trial table are all covered in spider silk. Master Tang took out a handkerchief with great foresight and wiped the desk briefly. Ma Wenyuan picked up the startled tree and slapped it heavily, who is suing me? With the shocking sound of Ma Wenyuan, a person standing in the center of the lobby knelt down straight. Chapter 5. The remaining sins of the Qing Dynasty, right? Someone. Give me a call. You are listening at novel full.audio. The figure kneeling down was picked up by the big man beside him and said in a rude voice, no injustice. Who saw injustice? You saw it. You saw it. Who saw it? Ao Sheng was very arrogant and shouted around, including Ma Wenyuan. Ma Wenyuan fixed his gaze and saw Ao Sheng dressed in silk, a long robe, and a pair of Western sunglasses. He has a beard on his face, long hair, and a few small braids on his head. And the shop assistant next to him, who had already been beaten, had a bruised nose and swollen face, disheveled clothes, and blood stains on the coarse cloth clothes on his chest. If there's no injustice, let's just disperse, Ma Wenyuan said indifferently. Damn it. At this moment, the shopkeeper let out a loud scream and knelt down. Ma Wenyuan said, if you have any grievances, just let me know. I will make the decision for you. The shop assistant, with a frightened expression and a crying expression, said urgently, I'm not wrong. It's not me, it's the martial arts master who is wrong. I'm not very eye-catching. I spilled the martial arts master's wine while hiding from the horse, which made the martial arts master lose his appetite. I should apologize to the martial arts master. The shop assistant looked at Ma Wenyuan while speaking, and then kowtowed to Aosheng. The shop assistant trembled and kowtowed, exuding a fear and obedience towards the martial arts expert Aosheng from within. Upon seeing this scene, Ma Wenyuan looked indifferent and didn't know what to say. Master Tang also had a bewildered expression and a strange expression. He was the first time he had seen someone who was beaten half to death and had to kowtow to the other person to admit his mistake. This is power. The spectators outside the lobby were smiling and pointing with interest. Unconsciously, the shop assistant is a microcosm of them. Being numb and ruthless, it's really a society where individuals eat people. No wonder Mr. Lu Sun abandoned medicine and became a scholar. Ma Wenyuan sighed in his heart. Watching the lowly shop assistant kowtow and plead for mercy like a mole ant, Ma Wenyuan could only curse. I am sorry for his misfortune, but I am angry at him for not fighting. Aosheng didn't even treat the waiter as a person. He kicked the waiter over and cursed, I'm not wrong. Get out of here. The shop owner who was kicked over was trembling and immediately knelt down again, pleading for mercy, it's my fault. Master Wu Ju, you don't remember the villains. I apologize to you. As he spoke, he kowtowed his head again. This person is really despicable. Tang Shiye, standing at the trial table, cursed in a low voice. He is smooth and cautious, and he can't bear to see it anymore. Ma Wenyuan watched quietly without speaking. Aosheng may have been annoyed, so he looked at Ma Wenyuan and said, this dog has spilled my wine and affected my appetite. How do you think it should be judged, County Magistrate? Well judged. We're just a family, can't we judge well? This clearly requires Ma Wenyuan to make a statement. Either join in with them or become enemies with them. The shop assistant also stopped and nervously looked at Ma Wenyuan. This must be what Xiao Tianlang meant, Tang Shiye whispered as a reminder. Ma Wenyuan ignored and calmly said, did you hit the injury of the shop assistant? Aosheng hugged his chest with both hands and raised his head, saying, he spilled Laozi's wine, he should be beaten. Ma Wenyuan smiled in his heart and said, I'm short of money and worried about having no excuse to mess with you. You guys are so lucky, they brought me to your door. It's really dozing off. Someone handed a pillow. To engage in mining and making money, we must deal with these local tyrants, evil gentry, and bullies in Kongqing. Ma Wenyuan said, bully the strong and the weak, bully the market, and beat others in broad daylight. Kneel down. Everyone. Master. Consider in the long run. Tang Shiye was startled and quickly advised in a low voice. The current master doesn't know what to draw. Too fierce, too reckless. What's the difference between this and suicide? How dare they even ask Xiao Tianlang's team training instructor to kneel down with just 4 of them? Tang Shiye feels his scalp tingling when he thinks about it. What are you saying? Aosheng couldn't believe his ears. Are you asking me to kneel down? Aosheng pointed to his nose and asked. Ma Wenyuan replied, it's you. Kneel down. Ha ha ha. Aosheng burst out laughing arrogantly, feeling it was absurd. The melon-eating crowd outside the lobby also burst into laughter, enjoying the excitement. Aosheng pointed at Ma Wenyuan and said arrogantly, I am a military examiner appointed by the emperor in the 30th year of Guangxu's reign. In terms of official positions, I am higher than you. You should kneel down for me. Aosheng shouted, "Kneel down." Upon hearing this, Ma Wenyuan sneered and said, "Ha! The remaining sins of the Qing Dynasty, right? Someone! Give me a fight. Ha ha ha. Damn it. Don't you take a look at whose territory this is. Just these 3 cuckoos and 2 jujubes. Want to hit me too? It's just ridiculous. What the hell?" Aosheng rolled his eyes, his nostrils facing upwards, filled with disdain everywhere. What kind of person is the county mayor? If he doesn't listen, I'll keep you alive for only 3 days. Mr. Xiao, you can also offend him. I really don't know what the world is like. I'm looking for death. Aosheng was still cursing, and the Red Alert platoon leader Ma Tianxi and deputy platoon leader Ma Tiansong had already walked towards him. "What are you two? Stay away from me." Watching 2 people dressed in strange clothes approach him, Aosheng disdainfully waved his hand and said, "Like driving away flies." But the next moment, Tiansong will directly give a right whip leg. "How dare you?" Aosheng was shocked. Without time to react, the left waist suffered a heavy blow. "Ah!" Aosheng let out a miserable scream. "Hold your waist and stumble back a few steps. Grass. I'll kill you all." As they walked over again, Aosheng cursed loudly while clenching his fists and preparing to resist. After all, he comes from a background in the martial arts examination, so he still has 2 skills. But Ma Wenyuan heard him say again, "If you dare to resist, you will be executed on the spot." Click. The Beretta M12S submachine gun in Ma Tianxi's hand was loaded and the muzzle was aimed at Aosheng. "What gun is this?" Aosheng exclaimed in shock. He has never seen such a submachine gun, but the dangerous aura is undeniable. Seeing the black barrel of his gun aimed at him, Aosheng immediately loosened his fist. 7 steps away, gun fast. Within 7 steps, the gun is both accurate and fast. He's afraid these 2 brushes won't be enough to look at. However, Aosheng relies on it and does not have much fear. As he retreated, he shouted, "Do you dare to touch me? I am the team training instructor of Mr. Xiao. I have over 100 subordinates. If I do, I will be enemies with Mr. Xiao. I will only live for 3 days against him. Strike." Ouch! Aosheng was sent a left kick by the sky and kicked to the ground. "Dogs! How dare you? Seek death! Oh my! See if I don't peel off your skin. Ouch! Stop! Ouch!" Aosheng is truly a martial arts expert. Despite being mercilessly beaten, he is still so tough, holding his head in both hands and constantly threatening with his mouth. Ma Tian kicked him 1 foot after another. "You didn't eat. Fight to death," Ma Wenyuan said indifferently. Upon hearing this, Ma Tiansong immediately picked up the steel gun in his hand and smashed it. Ma Tianxi also joined in, and the 2 of them worked hard. Mixed doubles. Pai Li Pa. Aosheng suddenly truly realized what a beating from society is. Ouch! Ah! Aosheng's nose and mouth were bleeding, his whole body was convulsing, and he let out a pig-like scream. Suddenly he began to beg for mercy. "Stop fighting! Stop fighting! I was wrong! 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 Broken! Broken! Please don't fight anymore." He has already been beaten to the point of internal and external bleeding. If he continues to fight, he may really suffer. Ma Wenyuan waved his hand and the 2 of them stopped, still unsatisfied. The shop assistant next to him has already been scared out of his wits. Squeezing and trembling beside me. The crowd outside the gate looked excited after eating, but Ma Wenyuan's expression was different. They are often oppressed by Aosheng on weekdays, and at this moment, they are truly relieved. "Kneel down, kowtow, admit your mistake. Ma Wenyuan looked at Ao Sheng, whose face was covered in blood, and said indifferently. Don't go too far. Mr. Xiao won't let you go. Ao Sheng gritted his teeth and said. He really didn't expect these 3 melons and 2 dates to dare to hit him. Still the kind of fighting to the death. He is in pain all over now, and his bones seem to have cracked open. Chapter 6. Dealt with him. You are listening at novel full.audio. Master. Pay attention to propriety. We can't handle Xiao Tianlang for now. Tang Shiye whispered in Ma Wenyuan's ear. Master Tang has already been stunned. Although the fierce beating of Aosheng relieved their anger, how should they bear Xiao Tianlang's anger next? He can't think of any other way besides running away immediately. Don't worry. I have a sense of propriety, Ma Wenyuan replied. Master Tang. He glanced at the 2 red alert soldiers standing next to Aosheng, and finally sighed before speaking again. Kneel down, kowtow, admit your mistake. In the same way, I won't say it 3 times. Ma Wenyuan looked at Ao Sheng coldly, with a hint of killing intent in his eyes. Wow! The gifted submachine gun was aimed at him again. Ao Sheng shuddered, disregarding the pain on his body, and decisively knelt on the ground before kowtowing to Ma Wenyuan. Ma Wenyuan said again, kowtow to the waiter to admit your mistake, 100 times. You kowtow, he counts. Can he bear it? Ao Sheng said coldly, with a murderous intent in his eyes. The shop assistant was even more frightened upon hearing these words. He quickly kowtowed to Ma Wenyuan and begged for mercy, Master Qing Tian. Let me go. I dare not. I dare not. I cannot bear it. Kowtow, count, not even 1 less. Ma Wenyuan said expressionlessly. Ao Sheng understood the principle of, a hero does not suffer immediate losses, restrained his killing intent, and immediately kowtowed to the waiter to apologize, I was wrong. I was wrong. The shop assistant could only count with a mournful expression, feeling infinite fear in his heart. Have you become addicted to this martial arts, master? Ma Wenyuan smiled at the county government council. It's quite satisfying. Everyone outside is shouting, Master Qing Tian. Tang Shiye smiled bitterly. Tang Shiye comes from a poor background. Although he has flaws in his personality, he deeply despises the local tyrants and evil gentry who oppress the poor people. Aosheng's beating can be considered as venting his anger towards the poor people of Kangcheng. It also gave Tang Shiye a new understanding of Ma Wenyuan. We have completely torn our faces with Xiao Tianlang. Should we run or what should we do? Tang Shiye asked with a bitter face. Ma Wenyuan glanced at him and said, Are you afraid? Ha! Who are you looking down on? It's just a matter of dying. I'm worried about your safety, sir. Tang Shiye disdainfully said, How can I enjoy life and be afraid of death? I would be afraid of death. His tone was filled with contempt for death. Ma Wenyuan smiled at the corner of his mouth. In this era, some people believe in death, and those who are close friends die. Pay for your life. Obviously, Master Tang is such a person. Tang Shiye was extremely cowardly, constantly dissuading himself from going against Xiao Tianlang. That's because he's afraid he'll be killed by Xiao Tianlang, but if he really reaches that point, he will definitely block in front of him. Don't worry. Don't run. We won't die here either, Ma Wenyuan said calmly. What kind of hindrance does the master have? Tang Shiye asked curiously. You wouldn't think my friend sent 2 people. Ma Wenyuan said. How many men and horses does the master have? They are company leaders, do they have the strength of a company? Tang Shiye asked with a gleam in his eyes. If there were a platoon, it would really be possible to argue with Xiao Tianlang. Ma Wenyuan replied, There is still a platoon of soldiers in the backyard. You can go and entertain and familiarize yourself with them. Really? Tang Shuyu's mind was greatly boosted and he was surprised. Master. Do you really have such a powerful friend? You will know in the future, Ma Wenyuan replied. Okay. I'll go take a look. Tang Shuye couldn't wait to say, although there aren't many rows, Xiao Tianlang dare not easily move us. Not seeing the real soldiers, he felt uneasy in his heart. Ma Wenyuan waved his hand, and Ma Tiansong led Tang Shuye away to the backyard of the county government. Today may not be peaceful, so we need to tighten our boundaries, Ma Wenyuan said to Ma Tianxi. Yes. Commander. Ma Tianxi replied meticulously. On the other hand, Wu Juren Ao Sheng had already been helped to the Yenyang Tower, which was a Western-style large watchtower in the residence of Xiao Tianlang. It is also the tallest building in Kongqing, representing the prosperity of Kongqing. The heads of the 4 major families in Kongqing also gathered in the reception hall of Yenyang building, their brows furrowed. Xiao Tianlang sat on the top chair, with a cold expression and a hint of murderous intent. Aosheng knelt in front of him, lowered his head, and his body trembled slightly. This new county mayor is very tough. Not only is he disobedient, but he also beat up my people like this. Xiao Tianlang sneered and said. Master, give me the gun, I'll take care of him right away. Ao Sheng raised his head and quickly declared. Yes. Take care of him. Look at how hard he is. The hardest thing here is only Mr. Xiao. An disobedient county mayor is not a good county mayor. What should be done? He wants to monopolize. There's no way. The local gentry and tycoons spoke out one after another. You're quite witty. Xiao Tianlang said coldly, Qianlong doesn't even suppress the local snakes. This furry kid doesn't know what to do. He's looking for death. If it's not a big deal, we can change the county mayor. Those who don't listen. We can keep changing, even though it's a bit troublesome. If we can't win over, we can only choose to get rid of it. Sigh. Xiao Tianlang sighed, his tone filled with the helplessness of being forced to kill. Cat crying mouse, that's probably how it is. Xiao Tianlang looked at Aosheng and said with disdain, can you do it? If not, go to someone else. Okay. I will definitely do it. Don't worry, master. I'll go take care of him right away. Ao Sheng nodded and replied like pounding garlic. You go with Ma Wan, be quick and take care of them, Xiao Tianlang said coldly. A cold and stern young man slowly walked out behind him. Ma Wan, besides Ao Sheng, is also Xiao Tianlang's confidant and the top hitter. With the two of them taking action, it's stable. A bald middle-aged man behind Xiao Tianlang smiled. His name is Ma Qian, wearing a grey robe, and he is Xiao Tianlang's strategist. Xiao Tianlang also has a subordinate named Ma Bai, who serves as the captain of the Kongqing security team. It seems that Kongqing is going to change its county magistrate again, someone laughed. I hope the next county mayor can be more obedient, it's a hassle of exchange. Trouble is a bit troublesome, who said they didn't listen? I don't know for sure. Why don't Mr. Xiao directly serve as the county magistrate of Kongqing? Someone suggested. Everyone agreed one after another. Xiao Tianlang replied with a smile, I'm not as happy as the county mayor right now. I don't have to pay taxes, I don't have to take care of things, it's great to earn money freely. As he spoke, he waved his hand. Ma Wan and Ao Sheng understood and slowly withdrew from the reception hall. In Mr. Zhao's eyes, there has never been an overnight grudge. Revenge will be avenged on the same day, not overnight. Ao Sheng and Ma Wan immediately ordered 12 good hands, holding a guy in hand, and headed towards the county government office with a fierce momentum. The people on the street saw it and took refuge, silently watching. Ao Sheng grinned grimly. Kill those dogs and then charge them randomly. No one dares to say anything. Master Xiao is in Kongqing, that is heaven, it is the true royal law. The vast Kongqing, no one dares to disobey. Aoshing has already figured out how to torture them. This is no longer arrogant to describe, it is simply lawless. The group quickly arrived at the county government office. The county government office is also a Western-style building, but it combines Eastern style and is in the shape of a quadrangle. There is a large open space in the middle, surrounded by old Western-style buildings. The tallest main building has 3 floors and is located at the innermost part. At this moment, Ma Wenyuan is standing on the top of the tallest building. Standing beside him were Tang Shiya, Company Commander Ma Tianxi, Deputy Company Commander Ma Tiansong, and 4 guards. Tang Shiya has already seen those soldiers and is no longer so worried in his heart. Those strange firearms, and strict discipline that prohibits them, make Master Tang realize the extraordinary nature of this army. Report to Commander. Xiao Qianlong's men are here. A red alert soldier ran from behind and reported. I didn't go and deal with them, they came to the door first. It's just that we're short of money. Ma Wenyuan said indifferently. Take care of them. Ma Wenyuan issued an order, go gather 2 platoons and take care of Xiao Tianlang. Yes. Tiansong saluted and quickly left. Good guy. Is there anyone else? Master Tang was pleasantly surprised and said, you can make a big profit this time. Take over the entire Kong city. A faint smile appeared at the corner of Ma Wenyuan's mouth. Chapter 7. Is simply seeking death. You are listening at novel full.audio. Brother Ma Wan. I'll handle that damn county chief later, and I'll deal with him well. Aoshing held a refuting rifle in one hand and supported his waist in the other, angrily saying. No problem. Are you sure there are only 4 of them? Ma Wan asked coldly with a fierce expression. I'm sure. There are only 4 of them. We need to hurry, otherwise they will run. Aoshing looked up at the county government not far away and gritted his teeth. Run. Can't run. Ma Wenyuan waved his hand and the 12 brothers immediately quickened their pace. Kicking open the door of the county government office with 1 foot, everyone rushed in with guns in hand, very arrogantly. Where are you? Get out of here. His mother. Aoshing was crouching and shouting. Search. No one can be spared, Ma Wan ordered. In the eyes of Ma Wan and others, cooking this new county magistrate is simply a matter of grasping and catching it with ease. It won't take much effort at all. They couldn't understand why this new county mayor had the courage to disobey Mr. Xiao. It's like seeking death. Hide. It's no use hiding. Look at me if I don't kill you. Aoshing shouted at the buildings around the county government office. Who's hiding? Raise your dog's head and take a look. Suddenly, a voice came and Aoshing and others looked up. Only then did I realize that Ma Wenyuan, Tang Shiya, and a strangely dressed Ma Tianxi were standing on the roof of the county government building, looking at them. Hee. You guys are really obedient. Tang Shiya sneered with a shrunken shoulder. The main focus is on being both timid and playful. Aoshing gave a fierce smile and crossed his waist, saying, damn it. Hurry up and get off my knees and kowtow to me. Maybe we can still leave a whole body for you. Ma Wenyuan spoke indifferently, forcefully breaking into the county government with a gun and threatening the county mayor. You are so bold, you are completely lawless. Aoshing smiled grimly and shouted. Master Xiao is the law of Kongqing. Master Xiao is the heaven of Kongqing. Whoever Master Xiao wants to kill must die. Here, Master Xiao the final say. Oh. I see. Ma Wenyuan nodded and said coldly, today, the rules of Kongqing need to be changed. Kill me. Aoshing and Ma Wan sneered disdainfully upon hearing these words. Aoshing raised his gun and shouted, You haven't figured out the situation yet, have you? This is Kongqing. You're probably out of your mind. Are you scared out of your wits? Haha. Go. Get them down. Ma Wenyuan was too lazy to say more to the dead and coldly ordered. All right. The brothers under my command were enthusiastic and wanted to rush upstairs. At this time, the second-floor windows of the buildings on both sides suddenly opened. Ao Sheng and Ma Wenyuan looked up and saw black muzzles rapidly protruding from both sides. The two of them were deeply moved. Suddenly my scalp tingled with fear. Ao Sheng's face was shocked, his skin twitched, and he was sweating profusely. Ma Wenyuan's face remained cold, with a hint of retreat. Although his spine is cold, he needs to remain much calmer. He doesn't believe this county mayor really dares to kill them. But the next moment. The red police soldiers on both sides of the second floor fired directly. The Beretta M12's submachine gun emits flames and smoke. The county government office screamed incessantly. The Ao Sheng and his group, sandwiched in the center, are simply unavoidable. Run. I dare to. Ah. The red alert soldiers did not even use the M60 machine gun. In an instant, a total of 14 skilled players, including Ao Sheng and Ma Wenyuan, lay on the ground in all directions. The smell of blood mixed with smoke permeates the air. Ao Sheng stared at the dead fish, unable to close his eyes in death. Ma Wenyuan was beaten into a hornet's nest, and even after death, his body was still convulsing. The Beretta M12's submachine gun is recognized as the best submachine gun in the world, easy to hide and carry, compact design, simple operation, reliable performance, 32-round magazine, stable trajectory, and dense bullets. Ao Sheng and his group had no cover, caught off guard by the beating, and could not escape the fate of death. My grass! What kind of gun is this, sir? It looks small, I didn't expect it to be so fierce. Tang Shiye widened his eyes and looked at the scene downstairs in shock. Master Tang can see clearly. In less than half a minute, all 14 members of Ao Sheng's team were killed, and they had no chance of fighting back with their burning sticks in their hands. What kind of latest submachine gun are those soldiers holding? They all fire continuously, with an extremely fast firing rate. It's not about hanging one hair at a time, just da-da-da-da, and killing the other person. I don't know how many bullets were shot out at once, that Ma Wenyuan was turned into a honeycomb coal ball. This kind of gun, this firepower, has exceeded Tang Shiye's cognitive range, even though he had long-term contact with the military. Tang Shiye was deeply moved and unable to regain his senses for a long time, giving him a new understanding of his own master. No wonder the master is full of confidence. No wonder the master didn't take those local tyrants and evil gentry like Xiao Tianlang seriously. Seeing the powerful firepower of these firearms, Master Tang finally understood, completely understood. Landlord and gentry. In front of the master, it's just bullshit. It's not even bullshit. These weapons, just this platoon of soldiers, are enough to sweep through Kong City. Master Tang, there's no need to be surprised. These firearms are just the most ordinary, and we will still have airplanes and tanks in the future. Ma Wenyuan smiled. The most ordinary. Airplane tank. Tang Shiye swallowed his saliva and looked at Ma Wenyuan in shock. He hardly knows his own master anymore. My friend can do anything, Ma Wenyuan said. Absolutely capable. Tang Shiye murmured to himself. Master. Can you ask your friend to equip me with this submachine gun? It's for self-defense. Tang Shiye pleaded. He really loves this compact and powerful submachine gun. There's no man who doesn't love guns. Ma Wenyuan looked at him and said, You are a master, not a warrior. I'll use it for self-defense, otherwise I won't feel secure. Tang Shiye rubbed his hands. Let's talk about it later. There's no such thing as. Ma Wenyuan asked, has the person been transferred? He didn't have any overnight grudges either, he avenged them on the spot. Besides, I am very short of money now, very short of money. This Xiao Tianlang is a treasury, it must be emptied immediately. Report to Commander. The deputy platoon leader hurriedly ran up and reported, 2 platoons have been transferred. There is also a Grizzly tank. Exactly. Let's see if his watchtower can withstand our artillery fire. Ma Wenyuan's expression was indifferent and he walked downstairs first. Hey! Do you really have tanks? Tang Shiye hurriedly followed up. Follow Ma Wenyuan to the entrance of the county government office, and a nearly 100-strong army outside has been integrated. Report to Commander. The platoon should have 120 people, but it has actually reached 90 people. Please instruct. Ma Tianxi reported forcefully. The 2 platoons that were just transferred, along with 1 platoon that ambushed Aosheng and his team earlier, have a total of 90 people in 3 platoons, and 1 platoon is stationed at the Red Police Base. Boom boom. A steel monster drove at a constant speed. Good guy. There's really a tank. Master Tang's eyes widened when he saw the grizzly bear tank. My own master has already refreshed his 3 views. Chapter 8. Quick Battle and Quick Decision. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Oh hey. The gun is going off. The gun is going off. The county magistrate should be dead. What should I do? The shopkeeper walked back and forth in the Zhao's restaurant this morning, restless and frightened. There were only a handful of diners in the restaurant, and they all heard the sound of gunfire coming from the direction of the county government office, shaking their heads in silence and sighing. A newly appointed good county magistrate, the brave Qing Tian master who dares to fight against evil forces, is gone like this. The residents of Kongqing are sorry, but there is nothing they can do. They had long anticipated this situation, and those who dared to confront Mr. Xiao would have no good outcome, only a dead end. I think you should go apologize to Master Xiao and beg Master Wujiu to spare your life, said a diner to the shopkeeper. Ah. Yes, yes. The waiter woke up from a dream and quickly rushed out of the restaurant. As soon as the waiter rushed out of the restaurant, he collided with Ma Wenyuan's team head on. This team, dressed in novel costumes, quickly ran past the restaurant and headed straight for the Sunshine Tower. A steel monster car followed behind, and Ma Wenyuan and Tang Shiye sat on the monster car, not to mention how powerful they were. The shop assistant's eyes are straight. It wasn't until the tank roared past that he regained consciousness and shouted loudly, "The county lord is going to the Yenyang Tower. The county lord is going to the Yenyang Tower." The shop assistant took off his clothes, shirtless, ran while shouting, waved his clothes, and chased after the Red Alert army. Many people like him in Kongqing, upon discovering this scene, also gathered towards the east of the city. Several diners in the restaurant poked their heads out and ran out of the house. At this moment, inside the Yenyang building, Xiao Tianlang leaned against the old man's chair, closing his eyes. He had a teapot in his left hand and a beat in his thigh with his right hand. The record on the phonograph was spinning nearby, and the sound of Beijing opera could be heard inside. They've been there for a while, haven't they? Why haven't they come back yet? Xiao Tianlang still closed his eyes and asked expressionlessly. Master, don't worry. The military strategist Ma Qian on the side bowed and flattered, with the Wujiu people and Ma Wan joining forces, this county mayor won't be able to make any waves. This is Kongqing, it's your territory, master. Yeah. It's a pity, disobedient thing. Xiao Tianlang said indifferently. Just. Ma Qian agreed. At this moment, another capable subordinate of Xiao Tianlang, Ma Bai, rushed in with a nervous expression. It's not good. The master's matter is not good. Ma Bai rushed into the hall and shouted urgently and nervously. What are you shouting? What are you shouting? Ma Qian sternly scolded Ma Bai, you want to die. What are you shouting nonsense? I'm disturbing the master's pleasure. You, who can't even die with 10 lives. Ma Bai's expression was tense, swallowing saliva and standing anxiously looking at Xiao Tianlang. Xiao Tianlang opened his eyes displeased and slowly sat up straight. You're at least a security captain, so anxious and flustered. What's it like? The sky is falling, and there's an old master around. Ma Qian continued to scold with resentment. Xiao Tianlang glanced expressionlessly at Ma Bai and calmly said, Tell me, what's going on? Ma Bai quickly spoke up and said, That county magistrate brought someone to fight over. Xiao Tianlang. Ma Qian. What? Are you joking with me, master? Xiao Tianlang's face collapsed, feeling really angry. How could he possibly believe such nonsense? This is absolutely impossible. Are you tired of being crooked? Ma Qian agreed. I'm not joking. How dare I? I'll call right away. I'm almost at my doorstep. Ma Bai replied with a mournful expression. Xiao Tianlang. Really? Ma Qian. Are you not joking? Ma Bai. Really? How dare I joke with the master? Ma Bai is so anxious. At this point. Boom. A loud noise startled Xiao Tianlang and the others. Pop pop pop. Da 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 da. Two completely different gunshots rang out outside. Let's see. Let's start fighting. They've already attacked. Ma Bai said urgently. At this moment, a housekeeper rushed in and said in a panic, Master, things are not going well. The county magistrate is calling. We have been surrounded, sir. Xiao Tianlang and Ma Qian replied and realized the seriousness of the matter. His mother. How many people have they come? Xiao Tianlang asked. About 90 people, the servant immediately replied. The other party came in line, it's easy to count. Less than 100 people. We have 300 or 400 people, what's the fuss? Gather people and deal with them. Xiao Tianlang ordered coldly. Then he said to Ma Bai, You also go and gather all the members of the security team. Let them see whose Kongqing this is. Good master. Ma Bai ran out with his servants. Go up and take a look. It's upside down. Xiao Tianlang said and headed up to the rooftop of the sunny building. Master, don't be angry, be careful not to damage your body. It's not worth it. Ma Qian smiled coquettishly and followed closely behind. Outside the Yenyang building, the Red Alert soldiers have already engaged in fire with Xiao Tianlang's army. As soon as the fire broke out, the defenders on the side of the watchtower were overwhelmed by the enemy's powerful firepower and couldn't lift their heads. There's no way, the firepower on the other side is too strong. They fired a shot, and the opposite side didn't know how many shots they had fired, only heard the sound of da-da-da. And the opponent's grenade is surprisingly powerful. Round and smooth, exploding in large pieces. Xiao Tianlang's defense team of over 200 has already suffered countless deaths and injuries. The losses are devastating. Ma Wenyuan's Red Alert soldiers quickly advanced to the vicinity of Xiao Tianlang's watchtower. Xiao Tianlang's residence is a huge bunker, with not only large bunkers, but also small bunkers of light and dark, and various military points. This place is easy to defend but difficult to attack. Coupled with the large number of people under Xiao Tianlang's command, it barely withstands the first wave of attack. Xiao Tianlang's escort team suffered heavy casualties, and the Red Alert soldiers were also injured. Although their weapons and equipment are advanced and powerful, they can directly crush the opponent. But the losses from siege are more than 10 times higher than those from defending the city. No matter how strong the weapons and equipment of the Red Alert soldiers are, they occupy absolute geographical advantage on the opposite side. Don't entangle with them, use heavy weapons and directly blast open the door to make a quick decision. Ma Wenyuan, who was standing at the end of the battle, said to the company commander Qianxi indifferently. The Grizzly tank has not been deployed yet. As long as this tank is deployed, it will directly crush all the defenses of the opposite watchtower. Although the Grizzly tank has thin armor, the burning stick on the opposite side can only scratch a white mark on its body. To break through the opponent's defense as quickly and directly as possible, using this tank is the best choice. Xiao Tianlang had just climbed onto the rooftop of the Sunshine Tower and looked down at the combat zone when he saw the Grizzly tank approaching his gate. What kind of thing is that? Xiao Tianlang exclaimed in disbelief as his eyes widened. Okay. It seems like an armored vehicle. Ma Qian spoke incredulously. Pooh. That's clearly a tank. Do tanks know what? Where did he get a tank? Xiao Tianlang slapped Ma Qian on the head and his expression began to panic. Tank. Ma Qian's tone trembled, and his heart began to panic. Damn it. This guy is not easy. Some people have tanks. Xiao Tianlang rubbed his head, pondering countermeasures. Wu Ju-ren and Ma Wan. They should be dead. Ma Qian trembled and said. I know his mother. Xiao Tianlang hit Ma Qian's head with another crack. Ma Qian gritted his teeth and rubbed his forehead in excruciating pain. Bang 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 bang. The shooters in the blockhouse and the bunker shot at the tank and made a sound of crackling, just like the rainstorm hitting the tiles. The sound was not small and the damage was zero. The tank drove several tens of meters away from the gate, and its long barrel aimed at the tall iron gate. The next moment, just hear a loud bang. Bang. We will reward you in Chapter 9. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Bang. The tall iron gate, along with the surrounding high walls, collapsed and turned into ruins. Thick smoke billows, a mess. Xiao Tianlang's heart pounded fiercely with the sound of a cannon on the sunny rooftop. He gritted his teeth and his face changed. Ma Qian covered her mouth and watched with a hint of horror the stunning scene of the tank crashing down the gate. The defenders in the bunker were all scared out of their wits. Fear arises in the heart. They have never seen such a steel giant before and have no idea how to fight back. This steel giant is not finished yet. Bang. 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 The tank barrel rotated, one gun after another, accompanied by intense explosions and screams. Several light and dark castles around the gate were mercilessly destroyed by tanks. The towering wall also collapsed and shattered, just like paper in front of this steel monster. If it weren't for the tank not being able to shoot up, it would have destroyed that watchtower. Boom boom. The tank is heading towards the gate. Attack. Deputy Company Commander Ma Tian gave an order. The red police soldiers around threw a wave of grenades and then rushed into the large bunker in an orderly manner. On the opposite side with a burning stick in hand, there is no courage to resist anymore. The most popular gun among Red Alert soldiers is also the M1 Garland semi-automatic rifle, and many people also have Thompson submachine guns and Beretta M12S submachine guns in their hands. Even in street battles, Xiao Tianlang's people are not the enemy of their unity. No matter how many people there are, it's just a gift of heads. After all, it's a mob. I surrender. I surrender. Don't kill me. Ma Bai, along with the security team, was shot dead by a large number of people as soon as they appeared in the bunker. He had quick eyes and hands, so he lay on the ground and begged for mercy loudly. Ma Tian glanced at him and swept over directly. Security Captain Ma Bai, before he can react, he's dead and can't die anymore. The security personnel he led, those who are still alive, are all scared to death. Crawling on the ground, shivering and trembling. Ma Tiansong did not kill these ordinary personnel, but sent someone to guard them. He personally led his men to attack the Yenyang watchtower. Intense gunshots rang out in the watchtower, with occasional screams of agony. Is this enough to attack? It's too fast. Tang Shiye, who was watching the battle next to Ma Wenyuan, lit up his eyes. I don't know how much gold and silver Xiao Tianlang has hidden. Now it's all ours. Tang Shiye can't wait to go and retrieve Xiao Tianlang's treasury. I've already entered, go inside and take a look. Tang Shiye couldn't wait to say. After cleaning up, catch Xiao Tianlang, Ma Wenyuan replied. The main focus is on being steady and not taking risks. At this moment, Xiao Tianlang, standing on the sunny rooftop, was completely panicked, with a cold sweat on his forehead. It's broken. It's broken. This is it. They're coming up. A bunch of trash. Xiao Tianlang was so anxious that he spun around like ants on a hot pot. He cursed incessantly in his mouth. Master. They have tanks. Ma Qian whispered. Xiao Tianlang slammed a chestnut on his head and said, I really don't know. Ouch. Ma Qian hugged her headache and shouted. Surrender. You can only surrender. Ma Qian, if you want to survive, you can only surrender. Xiao Tianlang said hastily, not caring at all about Ma Qian's feelings. Ma Qian also knows that he can only surrender, but surrender doesn't necessarily mean he can survive. He witnessed Ma Bai being killed in the yard with his own eyes. Ma Qian's eyes narrowed as he looked at Xiao Tianlang swaying in front of him, his heart beating hard. Master. Master. Don't worry, there's still a way. Ma Qian comforted Xiao Tianlang and hugged his shoulder. While Xiao Tianlang was stunned, Ma Qian gritted his teeth and suddenly exerted force. Directly threw Xiao Tianlang out with a fierce embrace. You! Ma Qian! A frightened roar came. Ma Wenyuan and others were talking when suddenly they heard a frightened roar. They looked up. I saw a figure fall from the top of the high watchtower. Bang! A loud bang. The figure smashed onto the broken brick wall, causing smoke and dust to fly wildly, blood to gush out, and the body to convulse uncontrollably. This person's breath in is less than his breath out, obviously he hasn't lived long. He stared fixedly at the top of the watchtower, struggled with his eyes wide open, then tilted his head and remained motionless. Ma Wenyuan and others followed his gaze and looked up again, only to see a group of red alert soldiers swaying on the rooftop. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. I surrender. I killed Xiao Tianlang. I surrender. Ma Qian looked at the red police soldiers surrounding him and begged for mercy while kneeling down. Ma Tiansong frowned and asked, Is it Xiao Tianlang who just fell downstairs? That's right. I threw him out. He wanted to run, I caught him. I even killed him. Please let me go. Ma Qian recounted his achievements incoherently, hoping to save his life. Faced with death, no one can remain calm, let alone Ma Qian, who is afraid of death and cherishes his life. Are you Ma Qian? Ma Tiansong asked again. Yes sir, please don't kill me. Ma Qian hurriedly said. Ma Tiansend nodded and looked at Ma Qiandao, you killed Xiao Tianlang. He was a hero, and we will reward you. Speaking, Ma Tian gave his subordinates a look. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Ma Qian was overjoyed and immersed in the joy of surviving, without even noticing that the two red alert soldiers were approaching him. Then reward you to accompany your master. As soon as Ma Tian finished delivering his message, two red alert soldiers, with lightning speed, set up Ma Qian and threw him out. The commander said, no leader left. Ma Tiansong clapped his hands and turned to leave. Ah! Bang! Ma Wenyuan and a few others saw a figure fall down again. It's so cruel. I just threw the person down like this. My brain was thrown out. Tang Shiye sighed. These people oppress the people, do many evil deeds, and do not hesitate to die. Ma Wenyuan said indifferently, let's go in and take a look. Tianxi patted Master Tang on the shoulder and said, it's time to go and change. Yes, yes. Tang Shirye smiled brightly and rubbed his hands. Follow Ma Wenyuan towards the gate that has turned into ruins, surrounded by 5 guards. The main body of Xiao Tianlang's bunker is the Yenyang Watchtower. Surrounded by tall walls, in addition to the 2 large gardens in front and behind, there are also many side rooms. At this point, the side rooms have been cleaned one by one, and the large garden is filled with people squatting. As soon as Ma Wenyuan entered the watchtower hall, Ma Tiansong had already taken 3 people down from the rooftop. Report to Commander. The watchtower has been cleaned up and all dangers have been cleared. Ma Tian saluted and reported. The movements are quite fast, where is Xiao Tianlang? Ma Wenyuan asked. Ma Tian returned and said, I've already fallen to death. I was thrown down from the watchtower by his subordinate Ma Qian. Where's Ma Qian? Ma Wenyuan asked casually. Report, sir. I left the watchtower. Ma Tiansong immediately replied. Master Tang. Ma Wenyuan paused for a moment, then said indifferently, hang out their bodies. Yes. Ma Tianshai immediately ordered his subordinates to run out. Ma Wenyuan said to Tang Shirye, change the money. Dig the ground 3 feet. Do you understand? Don't worry, master. Look at me. Tang Shirye immediately took action. Chapter 10. Digging 3 feet. You are listening at novel full.audio. Watching Tang Shirye go to great lengths to plunder Xiao Tianlang's wealth, Ma Wenyuan was very satisfied. Some people are born with a career that suits them. He felt a movement in his heart and said to Ma Tian, here's a task for you. Take someone to block the city gate. The main thing is not to let those 4 major families run away with money. Understood. Ma Tiansen turned his head and left. Then 10 soldiers were ordered to blockade the gates of Kongqing City. Commander, how will those prisoners be handled? Ma Tianxi asked. Ma Wenyuan replied, keep it, it works. In the garden outside, there are at least 50 or 60 people squatting, which are all excellent labor and cannot be wasted. Even if they were to go to cultivate the land, it would be fine. His group of people would have to open their mouths to eat. With Tang Shirye's vigorous search, boxes of gold, silver, pearls, gemstones, antique toys, etc. were carried into the hall. Soon, the entire hall was filled with boxes and various valuable items. Tang Shirye led 2 people, holding an account book and constantly counting. His excited expression on his face was self-evident. How's it going? How much is there? Ma Wenyuan asked as he walked into the hall after strolling around outside. Tang Shirye excitedly said, so far, more than 800,000 taels of silver have been found. More than 50,000 taels of gold. Countless jewelry and antiques. This Xiao Tianlang is really rich. Oh, by the way. There are also several large warehouses of grain, estimated to be tens of thousands of tons. Tens of thousands of tons. Ma Wenyuan smiled and said, the local tyrants and gentry here are indeed rich and can gather so much grain. Ma Wenyuan glanced at the boxes filled the hall and said, only 800,000 taels of silver. 50,000 taels of gold. This is impossible. Keep searching, you must dig 3 feet deep to find it. Isn't that enough? Tang Shirye asked in surprise. In Tang Shirye's opinion, he has already made a fortune. Ma Wenyuan replied, you should know that the ancestors of the Xiao family were bureaucrats of the Qing Dynasty. With the accumulation of 4 or 5 generations of Xiao Tianlang, how could this be all that matters? Xiao Tianlang and his father started selling opium and trafficking overseas Chinese workers very early on. I don't know how much unscrupulous money they earned. It's normal that grain cannot be preserved for a long time, but gold and silver are definitely more than that. Have you dug 3 feet in the ground? Master Tang. Good guy. Are you really going to dig 3 feet in the ground? What the master said makes sense. I will continue to lead people to find it, digging 3 feet deep. Tang Shiye retorted with enthusiasm. Go ahead. You must look carefully. Ma Wenyuan waved his hand. Tang Shiye quickly walked out of the hall and shouted to the prisoners squatting outside, you, and you. Go find a hoe and shovel. He enthusiastically dug everywhere with his people. Ma Wenyuan followed Ma Tianxi beside him and ordered, arrange manpower to transport all the grain back to the base. Leave 10% of this gold and silver to be transported to the county government, and the rest to be transported back to Dr. Ma for distribution and processing. Yes. Commander. Heavenly Gift saluted. So much grain and precious gold and silver cannot be transported back in one go, this is a considerable project. The Red Alert soldiers immediately took action. Those prisoners were also mobilized and started working. Ma Wenyuan picked up a large yellow croaker and pondered while secretly saying, after tidying up Shao Tianlang, the 4 major families will also plunder it. By then, the base should not be short of funds, this is a chaotic world, we need to prepare early. At this time, the 4 major families in Kongqing were already in a panic. The bodies of Shao Tianlang and others have been hung high, and the news of the destruction of the Shao family has already spread throughout the city. The whole city's people are cheering and running around to announce. Shouting loudly, long live the county mayor. The heads of the 4 major families gathered together, their faces as ugly as dead parents. The Lu family of the Qing Dynasty in the south of the city, and the Zhang family of the Wang family in the west of the city. Shao Tianlang is stationed in the east of the city, and to the north is the dilapidated county government office. It's broken. It's broken. Shao Tianlang has been destroyed. Our turn is next, said the Song family leader anxiously, with a tone of urgency. I don't know if it's still in time to run away with money, said the head of the Lu family with a frown. Don't think about it. It's too late. The city gate has already been sealed off. It's coming towards our 4 major families. The head of the Wang family shook his head and sighed. He had long wanted to escape from the city, but unfortunately he was 1 step late. Alas! For this plan, we can only make peace with him, sighed the head of the Zhang family. Old Lu. Hurry up and seek help from Lu Datong. Lu Datong's subordinate, Brigadier General Gua, is stationed nearby, said the head of the Song family, looking at the head of the Lu family. Hey! Old Song is right. Captain Gua's cavalry will arrive in Kongqing in 3 days. We won't be able to solve this kid by then. Zhang, the head of the Zhang family, clapped and said, let's compromise with him first, promise him everything, and wait for Captain Gua to deal with him. The head of the Wang family also agreed and said, it makes sense. Old Lu. We are all working for Lu Datong, and we don't know how much money we have earned him over the years. Lu Datong can't ignore us, can he? As soon as Brigadier Gua arrives, that kid will die. The Song and Lu families in the south of the city, the Wang and Zhang families in the west of the city, along with Shao Tianlang, all worked for Lu Datong. They are all involved in the sale of tobacco and human trafficking. Otherwise, how could Shao Tianlang tolerate them? After the Wang family leader finished speaking, they looked at the Lu family leader together with the Song and Zhang family leaders. Because the head of the Lu family seems to have some familial ties with Lu Datong. In Kongqing, the Lu family is still the 2nd largest family after the Shao family. Now it's all up to him. The head of the Lu family waved his hand and looked at the 3 people, saying, I have already sent someone to notify Lu Dutong. There has been no reply yet. Did you go? That's good. That's good. Lao Lu has worked hard. A few people showed pleasing smiles, rest assured. What's so good? I'm afraid there won't be enough time. Captain Gua's cavalry will take at least 3 days. Lu, the head of the Lu family, worried. First, hand over all the money. He won't make things difficult for us, will he? Zhang, the head of the family, frowned. It shouldn't be. At present, this is the only way to stabilize him. Yes. Save your life first before. Hand it over and then hand it over. I'll bring it back when Captain Guo arrives. Ah. Yes, yes. After some discussion, the 4 major leaders unanimously decided. First, they pretended to flatter Ma Wenyuan and pretended to flatter him, wait for Lu Dutong's reinforcements to arrive, eliminate him, and then bring back the things sent out. Soon, a servant came to report that Lu Dutong had received the news and had dispatched Captain Guo to Kongqing to maintain public order. As soon as this news arrived, the 4 masters completely let go of their worries. Then they immediately went back to their respective homes and began preparing silver coins and various rare toys. First, please stabilize this new county mayor. Once Brigadier Guo arrives, all problems will be easily solved. On the other side. Master. Master. It's really dug out. Tang Shiye excitedly ran to report from Shao Tianlong's watchtower in the east of the city. Ma Wenyuan, sitting on the leather sofa, stood up and said indifferently, "Go take a look. P.S. If you think this book is okay, why don't you get some free flowers and review tickets? Thank you."